After he seemingly delivered the impossible on Brexit, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak today set his sights on another political hot potato that, frankly, has flummoxed all of his predecessors, that being the UK's broken asylum system. Suella Braverman was also determined to boldly go where no Tory Home Secretary has gone in the last 13 years. Here, my friends, is what she told the Commons about illegal immigration, the crisis it engulfs us all. This was earlier today.
Unless we act today, the problem will be worse tomorrow. And the problem is already unsustainable. Mr. Speaker, people are dying in the Channel. The volume of illegal arrivals has overwhelmed our asylum system. The backlog has ballooned to over 160,000. The asylum system now costs the British taxpayer £3 billion a year.
And then later, the PM told the media he really meant business. Have a listen.
We will detain those who come here illegally and then remove them in weeks, either to their own country, if it is safe to do so, or to a safe third country like Rwanda. And once you are removed, you will be banned, as you are in America and Australia, from ever re-entering our country.
So the million-dollar question, again, will it make a difference? Earlier, I spoke with Tory MP for South Thanet, Craig Mackinlay, and asked him if he was happy with what the government had put forward and what has actually changed today. Have a look.
Well, what is really different, I think, is the language that there is a duty to remove by the Home Secretary to any who enter illegally. There will be no way that you will ever get a valid asylum claim. You will not be able to make an asylum claim for the rest of your days, very much in tune with what Australia and the US do. This is tougher language than I've heard from a Home Secretary in my time. And do you know why this has to happen? Is because we have had an unfolding disaster and total chaos in our immigration system for far too long. And I will reference those deaths in the Channel. These are unavoidable deaths. People should not be making these illegal crossings, which seem to be based on how much money you've got in your pocket to pay the people traffickers. It's completely undermined our immigration system, which has always been fair and reasonable and has protected many people over many years.
Craig, you say our system has been fair and reasonable. One of the biggest things that I hear repeatedly on this subject, and I hear it every single night, is people will say to me, the Home Office isn't fit for purpose, the asylum system process isn't fit for purpose. But with respect, sir, your party has been in power for 13 years. Why has it taken to 2023 and this escalating crisis for, as you said, a Home Secretary to finally go, we need to bloody well sort this out because it is becoming a major issue? Why so long?
Well, I'm certainly not going to defend what the Home Office hasn't been doing over the last few years. We've got 140,000 people awaiting assessment. That is absolutely unacceptable. Germany manages to do it in a couple of months. We seem to be taking a year, if not 2 years. We have now the bill of £3 billion a year, putting people in hotels. We've got an underground system of working for cash, which doesn't seem to happen in Europe. So you put all that together, Jeremy, we've got a decent hotel, you've got a 76% chance of getting through the system with a yes at the end of it rather than the EU average of 16. You've got a chance of illegal working. You know, what's not to like? And then we wonder why we've been a magnet for immigration. Now, I'm not going to defend the government thus far. I'm not going to defend the Home Office. It has been described as unfit for purpose by very many commentators, both from the left and the right, for a very long time. I agree with that. Now, earlier on the year, the PM said we're going to beef up a lot of these different systems, making sure people can't have bank accounts and all of these things that have been in place for many years, but seem to have been somewhat overlooked. Now, we need to bring all of these things to bear and this new legislation. So a lot of it is of our own making, and a lot of it means there's work to do. But do you know what, Jeremy? I've been saying for 18 months, this could be stopped in a fortnight, now, tomorrow, very quickly. if the French were to stop the beach launchings. Now, I find it hard to believe that France, a major economy, a major military power, has been to Mali in West Africa and sorted out an entire nation, but has seemingly been unable to patrol 3 miles plus or minus from Calais.
Listen, completely agree. And watching Sunak tonight, as I have, you know, he talks about the importance of speaking to our neighbours and dealing with our European partners. He said also, which is the other thing I want to ask you about, we go on about the European Court of Human Rights and should we leave it, and we get all the lefties jumping up and down saying, what about fairness and compassion in the United Kingdom? And I sit here every single night and I say, that's all well and good, but the people in this country, in the middle of a cost of living crisis, Craig, have had enough. They've had it up to the back teeth. They're struggling to pay their bills and to exist. And they see these immigrants coming across to this country and taking advantage. I think we've probably been too soft. What I want to ask you finally is, and Rishi Sunak touched upon this, he said, we imagine there might be court cases. I mean, those terrible situations in the past where an immigration lawyer at midnight can file a complaint and somebody gets to stay here. Braverman's language and Sunak's very strong. Do you see a lot of opposition, and do you think they are strong enough to stand up and see this through?
Well, I hope they do, because this has now become a very major political issue, not just on knocking on doors in Kent. This will be happening across the entire country. I'm getting that from colleagues. So we have to solve this. Now, the reach of the Strasbourg court, particularly this rather daft Rule 39, which was the reason that Rwanda was stopped, we seem to comply with these diktats. We comply with 80% of these Rule 39 pronouncements by a judge in chambers, name unknown, just working on paperwork. Germany complies with 60%. Spain complies with 40%. Under the ECHR and the 1951 Convention, we end up with a yes at the end of our process of 76%. The EU average is 16%. So if we were to have the same, I would have no problem with the ECHR. 16% sounds about right to me, so that we can, cut out those who are pure economic migrants. But we've got work to do. We've got a system of lawfare. We've got legal aid. We seem to have judges that really aren't on the side of what people would want in this country. And I think it's time that Parliament certainly, and to coin a phrase, took back control and takes it and gets this job done finally.
Couldn't agree more. Craig Mackinlay, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Jeremy Kyle Live.